the long run, strap in for a long one. We got everybody on one. Now you coming at the king, so you better not miss. And we only get stronger with everything I carry up on my back. You should paint it up with a target. Why would you dare me to do it again? Come get your spoiler, but we're taking over. We're taking over. Hey, look at you calling my name. You ought to know by now that we're taking over. We're taking over. Hey, maybe you wonder what your future's gonna be, but I got it all locked up. Take a lap now, don't be mad now. Run it back, run it back. I got bodies lining up, think you're dreaming of greatness. Send you back home, let you wake up. Why would you dare me to do it again? Come get your spoiler, but we're taking over. We're taking over. Hey, look at you calling my name. You ought to know by now that we're taking over. We're taking over. Hey, maybe you wonder what your future's gonna be, but I got it all locked up.
在以后，除了是傻子，还有其他吗？我左右，键盘琵琶在时间滴答着，还不够。你的固执让我来守候，哪怕太迟也不想以后。就在这时放肆的打斗。I got the heart of a lion, I know the harder you climb, the harder you fall. I'm at the top of the mountain, too many bodies to count. I've been through it all. I had to weather the storm to get to the level I'm on. That's how the legend was born. All of my enemies already dead and born. I'm ready for war. They know I'm ready for war. I told them we're taking over.
I got it all locked up.
Moving too fast, life is moving in slow-mo. I'm a god, but I actually don't know. Homie, better put your pride aside. I'm a Benz, get more like a Volvo. Your best stuff looks like my words. Synapses, fire, and burst. Got the whole crew with me, about to do damage. You know we ain't average. I ain't gonna say this again, but it's in my time. Better look in my eyes. I'm a genius in the skies with my heart on my sleeve. You force you a block to a king in his prime. Everybody got a line. Sit back with the stars in line. I finesse like my life on the nine. Was a diamond in the rough, and now I shine.
No one could stop us, they'll try, but they won't. Nada nos puede parar. Oh no, we're wide awake now. Our eyes are wide open. We're running this world. We're keeping it turning. We're living like giants. Yeah, giants. We're bigger than giants. We're giants. Oh, sleeping giants. Sleeping giants. Yeah. Shutting it down. Been in the ground and my people all up in this place. Spinning this thing. Go to my rank. Royalty up in my veins. I'm loco, think I'm so cold. I say something, ain't no going back. Now they ask where Kiki's at. I'm like, you can't hang with that. 쏟아져 빛이 멀게 된 눈이 멈추지 않아. Once we go, 내게 넣은 날로 모든 뼈 빨리 달려. 넌 못 따라와. True damage we do it. True damage 보여줄게. 뭐든 쉽게. 이기든 지든 my crew make the beat. No one could stop us. They'll try, but they won't. Nada nos puede parar. Oh no, we're wide awake now.
on shattering time. I might just leave you behind. Homie, you stuck on rewind. You just quit sleeping on mines. You got your back on recline. When I damage your delicate spine, please don't act out, shy and surprise. They be like, what you mean? What is your winning scheme? I got a giant team. Big as my self-esteem. Run it back, running man. They think they go hard, I'm like, come again. You run at a time and I'm busted in. While you stumbling, I got this blade in my hand for your punishment.
We're wide awake now, our eyes are wide open. We're running this world, we're keeping it turning. We're living like giants, yeah, giants. We're bigger than giants, we're giants. You thought that we were weak, but we coming right back. This time you're gonna see how we do it like that. We're living like giants, yeah, giants. We're bigger than giants, we're giants. Oh, sleeping giants,
Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the LAS Premade Finals. We're about to get going with our little pre-show here tonight, but joining us on the desk can be none other than B-Pots. How you doing tonight, buddy?
I am doing very well. I am very looking forward to casting my first ever finals here and to do it alongside you as well.
Oh man, we got an absolute banger on our hands tonight. Before we do get going, I just want to remind all of you out there watching that registration for our fall split is currently open. So if you want to use the command, I believe it's fall21, F21 also works, register as well. All of those will work to get you to the link to our links for registration. But yeah, it's about time that we get into this and do a little chatting about these teams before we get going tonight. So, general thoughts, B-Pots, about these two teams that we're about to see on stream tonight.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm definitely looking forward to watching both teams play tonight, you know. Two different stories in the semifinals. PVE came off a pretty easy 2-0, and as we saw on stream last week, you know, BSG had to fight. They had to reverse sweep mint in order to make it here, and so I definitely think PVE has the advantage, but it's going to be interesting to watch the finals, watch them play out, and see how BSG and PVE perform.
Absolutely, and a big part too. We'll start with the PVE side because they have been around for quite some time now. This PVE squad, a couple of them played back in LAS Premade in the fall split. I believe a couple of them are under the name of Tigers V2. If you remember that series from way back then. So a few of these players are looking for the three-peat here, like Dallas. I believe Rivari was on that squad as well too. But regardless of that, PVE also won last split as well too. I had to face the wrath of them in semifinals. They went off to finals and completed the series there too. So this is like a 2 or 3 peat here for that PVE squad, and they've been looking fantastic so far this split. And like you said, too, they've been having a pretty good couple of weeks that we've seen or maybe not seen so far.
Yeah, definitely. And even like to pair with the draft league as well, you know, I believe it's Mako and DeFly that played on Outlaws too, that won with you actually. And they're looking to become 2-time champions this split as well. So even that alone would be very significant for both of them. And yeah, as you said, just continued success from PvE in years past, and we had to face the wrath of them in Group A in last year's pre-made split too. We were the only team to beat them last split actually, but yeah, no, they're definitely coming in here strong, and they've made some changes over the length of the split to get them to where they are today, and it's going to be exciting to see if they can bring it home.
Absolutely, and it'll be interesting too to see where the picks actually go. Thank you, Totally Boss, for the bits there. But I'm curious because it is going to be very important what we see with this draft. We just got in that PVE is going to be on the side select for game 1. So we do got to look at those players like Mako who have those incredibly large and diverse champ pools, which make it a very great option to pick that red side. Very easy option to go for that counter pick R5. And he's kind of got his pick of the litter there, which makes it, again, difficult when you're banning out stuff. Are you going to use all 5 bans for that? Because you have 4 other players that are very competent on that PVE squad that look extremely well, like the addition of Salt Spreader to this team as well too. Very reliable player, very consistent with what he does, and he's got a few of those key tank champions that he can bust out at any time and be a great addition to his team.
Yeah, and as you're talking about, Mako is one of those champions that like you 5 ban him and he can play 6 things, right? Like he's always got something he can pull out, and PVE picking red side, especially for game number 1, just shows that they're probably looking to get Mako some sort of counter, if not some sort of flex pick that they can flex around on their team. But yeah, that's one of the biggest strengths that PVE has. Is I'd say that they're one of the best mid jungles in the league, like unmatched. Dallas and Mako are 2 of the best. So it's going to be really interesting to see if Backseat Gaming try and stop that 2v2, or if they just try and find other advantages in other areas of the map.
Yep. So we talked a lot about PvE. We got to bring some attention over to this Backseat Gaming squad, which last week they had an incredible performance. You and I got to cast that one. And it was looking like we were going to be going home early. It was looking like the 3-0 Mint were up 2 games. And all of a sudden, you know, we were saying it all between games like, you know, BSG has to find an answer. And oh, did they ever? Oh, did they ever? They came back, they reverse swept Mint, they punched their tickets to final, but now they're here. And I'm curious to see what they're going to be doing, because a lot of that strength I saw was through FRT in the top lane too. And then near the end, we did see Giggle start to really show his strength. Well, now under the name of Leaky Pickle. He did have the name change, so you guys will see that tonight. But really stepping up as the ADC too, and doing a lot of the damage needed for his team. So I'm curious to see how they're going to play around, or what lanes they really decide to play around. I think it's going to be very interesting watching where these teams decide to go.
Yeah, and you touched on it a bit too, but I think the biggest takeaway from last week is that it was the Angrotis show. You know, they got down 2 games, and then Angrotis whipped out the Olaf 2 games in a row and just absolutely took over the early game. And that was the trend we were talking about in this series too, was that the team that got ahead in the early game usually trended to snowball the game. And so seeing Angrotis play Olaf games 3 and 4 allowed BSG to get leads everywhere on the map, and that led to them winning games 3 and 4. And then on game number 5, we saw the fiddle, and it was absolute madness in game 5, but he was able to pick up the win with the fiddlesticks. And I think that's one of the ways that BSG could win this series. You know, Angrotis maybe having some sort of pick that he hasn't showed yet, even though they went to 5 games, and you'd think that they'd show their best picks in game 5 of that series, but just something maybe he learned from last week to this week, or even something else like a pick for Defoe or a pick for FRT in the top lane, some sort of unconventional pick that can help carry BSG to 3 wins in the series.
Oh, I'm curious to see what's going to go down a little bit. And we are going to see those answers very soon, because these teams are in and ready to go. So we're just going to wait to get the word from them, wait to get the spectator link for their PentaQ, and then we're going to be going. But I mean, I could see tonight, I don't know if you got any predictions, I can see it absolutely going the full 5 games tonight. Both these teams have the potential to do that. But either way, I think we're going to have a great finals here. I think it's going to be hype as hell. So I'm just looking forward to casting some great League of Legends here.
Definitely. I am as well. Like, there's a world where I could see either team winning like 3-0, but then part of me hopes that, you know, the game goes to 5 games, sorry, and we have a banger like we did last week.
Well, hopefully that didn't go through for the stream, but I'm having some audio issues here. Hopefully it doesn't keep up, but I think we are just about ready to go, ladies and gentlemen. So if you guys are ready, and I'm ready too, I'm ready for this. But just a couple last announcements before we get out there. Don't forget, fall registration open right now, so use the command F21 to check out the link for that. Also, predictions will be open once these teams are logged into the client, so make sure to keep an eye out for that. And there's no take back, so make sure you read which team you're betting for. Anyways, let's head off to the draft for game number 1 of these grand finals B-Pots. They're already starting it up.
Yes, definitely.
All right, I got the world's music too, just to give us that extra little bit of hype. But let's see what's getting banned first, as it seems to be a Viego target potentially getting hovered here by BSG. But there's so much stuff that we're gonna see taken away here. So that's one right off the bat is Angrotis's Kindred. It's again, like we said last week, a little illegal if he's allowed to play it. But you can see the bans right now going against Mako, the Viego, the set, which is a potential flex between mid or top right now, and even potentially support. So very smart bans coming up from both sides.
Yeah, I've got to play against the Salt Spreaders set, actually. It's not too fun. So a 3-way flex there being taken out by BSG, definitely a good move from them. And as we said over on PVE, they're taking out the Kindred first, which is certainly the pick that you don't want to give Angrotis. We're talking about so many different things he can play, but if you let his Kindred through, he's probably going to pick it 100% of the time, and it's going to be the Echo and the Diana bans in return to end out the ban phase. Their possible picks that could be mid and jungle flexes, so it's good to see them taken off the board as well.
I could see BSG either going for the Ezreal or Tristana first. I don't know if it's the safest play to just pick up the Vayne here for Pickle, but they could potentially do it. BSG has shown that even if they decide to pick up a Vayne early on, they could still win with it. But safer is the Tristana. Could potentially be flex, but I would say most likely going to that bot lane for Leaky Pickle. He's shown time and time again that Tristana just works for him.
Yeah, certainly. It's a really good pickup for Leaky Pickle. As you said, he's definitely very confident on that champion. And then if they need to go to some sort of backup plan, it could always be moved up to the mid lane into Defoe. Looks like it's going to be the Caitlyn here picked up for Defly if they lock that in. Just waiting on confirmation for that.
Yep. Timer's ticking down, so they're going to have to lock that one in very soon. Will be Caitlyn. Caitlyn here picked up for PVE, and wondering whether or not they want to pair it up with the Morgana. They have an option right now if they decide to do that. And it still doesn't completely reveal their hand because that Morgana, we could potentially see it flex into the jungle, but they're going to go for the Gwen as their R2. Another really, really strong pick. And you know what I like about this Gwen too? It also denies FRT from going that Ornn top. It is one of the answers to that Ornn. But my goodness, this is very spicy picks right off the bat here.
Yeah, I really like the Gwen pick as well. And the thing about Morgana is it's really good to pick like Kate Morgana 1-2. It's a really good like blind pick to lock in. But with this Leona being locked in from BSG, you know, there's no real pressure. There's no real pressure on PVE to even pick it up in the last round of this first phase. If they ban out the Morgana, there's a bunch of other engaged supports that can fit the role really well. Champions like the Thresh, champions like the Nautilus that can do really good things paired with this Caitlyn, and it's actually gonna be the Fiddlesticks locked in as well.
This was something that Ingrotus whipped out in Game 5 last week against Mint. Ended up going 5-3-11, which is not terrible. Not terrible. It's not often that we see the Fiddlesticks anymore in Season 11 hanging out in the jungle, but you know what? He can make it work, and sometimes that fear coming out of those fights can be really, really massive, especially if you have a Tristana bouncing around in these fights. So I really like that pickup for Ingrotus, one of his specialties coming out right in Game 1. But talking about specialties, that's the Camille, and that's one of Rovari's really, really clutch picks right now. He's played it across multiple splits, so I really like to see that answer, and immediately PvE ban out the one counter to it, which is, well, the one biggest counter, which is that Mordekaiser.
Yeah, certainly, and that means as well that it's going to be a Gwen jungle for Dallas with that Camille lock-in as well. So you already see top jungle here, and it's just going to be the mid and support picks left for PvE to lock in. It's actually going to be the Alistar banned out for BSG. We thought that it was going to be something that Salt Spreader would play, and it's going to be the Nautilus as well. I know Salt Spreader isn't really known for his Morgana play. He's got a lot of games on the more tankier supports like the Leona, Nautilus, the Set even. So PvE may risk here and lock in that Morgana, or just pick something else that Salt Spreader's comfortable with.
Ooh. That right there is a great pickup, regardless of what lane it's going to. The pair up between the Galio and Camille can really just lock down kills wherever on the map you really choose to go for it. So I love the synergy coming in from those two already. My guess is that Galio is probably going to go to the bot lane for Salt, who is, like you said, good at those tank champions. We saw the Alistar and Nautilus banned out. I haven't seen too much of his Nautilus, but his Alistar is definitely scary. So very smart to start targeting that bot lane here to make it just a little bit easier for Pickle here on that Tristana. But Galio is going to be a tough one to deal with. However, the Kennen is going to get picked up by BSG, and they got one more pick to go here.
Yeah, it looks like BSG is forcing like a death ball comp. You know, the Fiddlesticks ult in, Kennen ult in, Leona and Tristana jumping all over top of it. It could be, I thought it could be solidified by this last pick here, but going back to the bans, it was really surprising that BSG didn't ban the Galio, even if it was going for the mid lane. You know, Camille Galio is such a good combination that I figured it would be more prioritized in terms of bans over something like this Nautilus, but even so, it's still a great flex for PvE because this could go mid lane, this could go support. As you said, I think it's going to go support as well, and I think this is going to be the brand for Defoe as well.
This is the brand, B-Pots. If there is a player out here who's known for his brand, it is Defoe. So he, again, coming in with one of his specialty picks here that we didn't see last week. I believe it was until, it was that pivotal Game 3 where BSG ended up coming back. A little mistake where he accidentally went Halo Blade, so hopefully that doesn't happen tonight. We are in finals, so I did hear from him that it was a bug. He had it selected, and then he got into the game. He's like, that is not the rune I selected. So hopefully none of that's happening today, but he is very good with that champ. Again, PvE now have to watch out for bunching up in these team fights, and it makes it a little bit more hard to pair up that Camille and Galio when they're going to be in close quarters there. However, right.
The Vigar is locked in for Mako here, game number 1. But yeah, this just solidifies the Camille Galio, right? Like, Mako just walks up to someone, and even if Camille's 2 screens away, he just locks a cage on them. Then Camille jumps in, Galio on top of it, and
I have a wait a minute. No, it's never mind. I was gonna say
it also stops a lot of BSG's engage.
That cage is gonna be really detrimental for Leona, Fiddlesticks, Cannon, well, 4 out of 5 there that are gonna be relying on that mobility. And then you just throw the cage down, and all of a sudden, no. How about you don't move anymore? Thanks.
Yeah, and this was sort of what we were talking about in Champ Select as well. You know, PVE banned the Diana, the Ziggs, BSG banned Echo, Set, and Viego, which are 3 champions that Viego would most likely, or that Mako would definitely love to play mid lane. And he just whips out the Vigar. I've never seen him play Vigar before. I've heard nothing of Mako's Vigar, but I bet you he's gonna play it well, just because it's a little bit of Mako diff.
That'll be it'll be interesting to see how this one's gonna break down. Yeah, I would say I can't see the Caitlyn going anywhere but ADC right now. I was trying to figure out something else because, you know, you do look at a couple of these players being able to flex these champions around. Like, the Fly does have the ability to bust out that Vigar. We've seen him do it before in the mid lane or down as an APC technically. And same thing with that Gwen. Both Dallas and Mako can play it. I'm not too sure if Rivare can play it as well too. I would maybe think, you know, it's somewhere there in his top pool. But again, a lot of flexibility here. But I think for game 1, we have some pretty standard stuff across the board. It's just going to come down to execution. I think you brought up a really good point as well, which was that cage hindering mobility. And going back to that point I was talking about BSG relying heavily on that mobility of getting around or getting into these fights very fast. There's a lot of CC on PvE that can slow that down quite a bit. But my counter argument to myself, I suppose, was just toss a Brandar and all of it.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel that if BSG is able to get their engage off, like their full combo that they want off, you know, they win almost every 5v5, assuming, you know, it's relatively equal grounds in which they fight. But there's so much disengage and so much counter engage on PvE, as we said with the Camille, the Galio, the Vigar cage, that if BSG's engage falls flat at all, it means that PvE has a huge window to counter engage and can get a just as equally strong team fight off on BSG. So it's gonna be reliant a lot on execution, and that's one of the things we want to see, you know, in the finals, of full 2 5v5 comps that are ready to scrap whenever they see each other.
Well, with that, though, teams are locked in. I'm going to open predictions for a little longer tonight, as people might be trickling into the stream here. So those are open for 10 minutes, but let us know who you think is going to win game number 1. Will it be BSG or will it be PvE? Any thoughts on who's taking this first one, B-Pots?
As much as I want to see BSG with their insane team comp win this game, I think PvE is going to take the game just based off the fact that they're good at executing their win cons, and they're definitely thinking the same things we are in terms of finding counter engages and just stopping the initial engage. And so if PvE is able to do that, which I think they can, then it's their game to win.
I just got a quick update. I do apologize that I didn't see that, but it is going to be Axrid up in the top lane. So not going to be FRT up there tonight, but Axrid, another one of those big players that has shown time and time again that he is up a very strong player in the top lane, and another name too. But no, it's going to be interesting too. While I fix these names, any other thoughts about kind of the matchups we're going to see here in the early phases of the game within these lanes?
Yeah, I mean, Axrid, I'm looking at his OP.GG now. He's played 6 games of Cannon and solo queue, so it doesn't really seem like it's his number one champ or his number one prio pick, but I think he's playing it more right now just to fit the identity that BSG is trying to go for. But I think especially in this bot lane, you can expect Leaky Pickle and Perky Tricks to have a lot of priority in this bot lane. Caitlyn's really good at poking and Caitlyn's really good at ranging, but Tristana and Leona certainly have I'd say the best level 2 in the game right now, so Defly and Salt Spreader definitely need to respect that. If Salt Spreader doesn't have Taunt up especially, it means that there's a huge window for Leaky and Perky Tricks to go in. In terms of this mid lane, I expect standard farming, but Mako certainly has a lot more lockdown than Defoe has on brand, and so there's a lot more opportunity for ganks in the mid lane as well for PVE. And then Rivarian Axrid, it's two skirmishy top laners, but I don't think there's going to be much attention paid to them in the early game.
That's another big thing too that I've discussed time and time again is those early ganks. Where are we going to see them? Because I think it does raise the question in how these teams are going to approach getting these lanes ahead. With a Gwen, I mean, you got that invulnerability field, which will be quite nice, but I would say the most of these ganks are going to be hitting us once we see the level 6s come through, especially for that Fiddlesticks Crow Storm. It's just such an easy way to pop in, get a fear off, get that extra CC, and if Mako doesn't have his cage up and available, well, Veigar isn't the most mobile champion, so it's not the hardest if they do want to decide to target that over and over again. However, there's one thing that sticks out to me. It's the fact that you have an infinitely scaling champion on the side of PvE. If this game goes too long, there is going to come a time where Veigar will just one-tap you.
Yes, that's the thing as well. PvE has the late game insurance, right? PvE is completely fine, honestly, not taking any of these skirmishes if they wanted to, right? Like, they've got the scaling Veigar, and I mean, Camille does really well in these late game fights as well. And the Camille Galio combo set up with this Veigar is really all the damage you need in PvE Steam Comp right now. So they're completely fine just letting Mako farm and scale. But I know PvE, and I know that Mako, right from the beginning of the game, would rather farm champions than he would minions. And so I do expect a lot of these fights to be happening in the early to mid game. But if BSG isn't winning the early ones, there's not too much they can do in the late game.
Well, we'll have to see how this all unfolds on the Rift, guys. Make sure to keep getting those predictions in, but we will see you on the Rift in just a few minutes for game number 1. Don't go anywhere. You're not going to want to miss it. All right, we are... Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the first game tonight of the LAS Premade Finals. We got both their teams loading into this one. BSG on the blue side for game one, PVE on the red side, and it's time. It's time to see how this first game is gonna go. You know, it always is a little bit of a opening statement here when we see these teams come out, and I'm curious. I know I've said that a bunch today, but I'm very curious to see how this one is going to break down because, like I said, two great teams on hand, and it's going to be interesting to see if we have PVE sitting on that throne again by the end of the night, or if BSG are going to dethrone them and end up in the Hall of Champions later. But just having a nice little dance party to start this one off.
I was going to say, there's only one thing we know right now, and that's a dance party in the mid lane.
That's the way to start it. We're going to do a little pan into Mako here as he's walking back. It's too bad I didn't grab that as the dance party was starting. But we are getting into this one. It is looking like a potential blue start for Ingrotus. So we might see him path down towards the bot lane based on where he's starting there. But classically, though, what we've seen a lot of the times, it is easier right now to execute those ganks on the top side. But I would think both junglers definitely need to hit that 6 before we see some fully complete ganks. You know, you might see a summoner spell burned here and there, but level 6 is where it's at for both these teams, I think, in game number 1 here.
Yeah, I hope the skirmishes are on the bot side, just because that's where the Galio, the Leona, the Fiddlesticks will be. Even Mako and Defoe roaming down there, so it makes for some pretty spicy skirmishes if we were to see them down there. But yeah, it's pretty much what we expected in the early game, at least. Junglers starting normally. There weren't any invades. Both teams just like to play relatively standard. In fact, we saw the dance party, but I wanna point to something you were talking about, the predictions earlier. And Grotus actually put 10K on PVE, so he's looking to make some money.
Wait, and Grotus is on BSG though, so is he predicting his team is gonna lose game 1 here? No.
It's a win-win. If you win the game, you're up 1-0, and if you lose, then you're up like 500 channel points. I don't know, but both junglers are making their way to the opposite respective quadrants of the map. We saw a lot of blue side pings there into that tri-brush there to signify that PvE got vision in there. Maybe that's indicating that Ingrotus was looking for something early down in that bot side. But Rivari actually finding a really nice trade onto Axford here.
You see the shields coming out too are just so nice when trading, and Cannon's definitely not going to have the easiest time against this Camille until, again, level 6 is the big one. Slicing Maelstrom paired up with the rest of his team's ultimates are going to be extremely useful, but right now you can see Rivari is putting one of his mains to very good use here, and that Camille Q is absolutely no joke. We do have to keep our eyes on the bot side because that ward that went over the bush, I don't think it's spotted in Grotus from Tri as he pathed through there, but we do see some numbers starting to form up here as Defoe rotating down a little bit into the river here. So thankfully, you do have the Flying Salt Spreader playing this bot lane quite safe so far. But Ingrotus is going to be lurking right there in the river waiting for him.
And they're just going to trade crabs.
Oh, look at this though. Zenithblade going in. That's going to be Pickle jumping on top. The Fly has the bomb on top of him. He's got to get on out. Down to a quarter health. Perky takes a turret shot. But just... everyone's going to live. The only summoner exchange is going to be that Ignite from Perky, so overall, PvE playing that one nice and safe.
Notable as well, Defly took Cleanse in this matchup, as he should, with the Fears coming in from Fiddlesticks, all the CC from Leona, and then the stuns from Cannon as well. I think it's the right idea to take Cleanse in this matchup, but what I was going to say before all that happened was that they were just trading scuttles. Defoe got the prio in the mid lane, went down to help on bot scuttle. Rivari did the same for PvE and got the top scuttle for them. It's going to be really nice trades from Rivari here, although he is almost out of mana, so a reset might be coming for him. First dragon on the map. Oh, go ahead.
That was a nice little stun, but yeah, Let's look at that first dragon. Another big thing that we were talking a lot about last week too. We're starting it off with an ocean, so it does keep the dream alive, that potential Infernal Soul here.
Yeah.
But again, it's a nice little one, especially once we start to see the level 6s come out. If we're seeing these big team fights, having that early ocean is definitely not going to be a kick in the pants for whoever can secure it first. But we do see Dallas pathing up towards the top lane right now, so no immediate attention being given over to that. We are only 5 minutes into this game and things are looking very even throughout the board, but I expect once these level 6 start hitting, things are going to become a little bit more chaotic in this game.
Yeah, certainly. It was kind of like the Wild West last week. A lot of wind and mountains in terms of the soul. There are no tumbleweeds on the Rift, but definitely the wind and the mountains there. I'm hoping for an Infernal Soul this game, especially with how skirmish and teamfight heavy these comps are. It'd just be really nice to see one of these teams get the Infernal Soul, but Arari's actually been pushed back in this lane a little bit because he hasn't had the same trading power as he has when he had so much mana in the lane. But Dallas is showing his face here in the top side. Axford is going to spot it out, though.
Got that ward in the river, so Axford can walk it on back. Does have to give up a little bit of CS because that wave is pushed in quite nicely for Rivari up there. But as soon as they see Dallas, though, that's a really nice response coming in here from BSG. And Grota's starting up this dragon right away and has Defoe rotating from the mid lane to help him on out. So should look like BSG are going to be able to pick up this early Ocean Drag without any difficulties here. And Grotus is getting a little low, but nobody going to be coming over to pester him at all. So first dragon picked up here for BSG. And we are going to see a Cloud next. So again, keeping that dream alive, potential Infernal Soul.
Begging for the Infernal Soul, but yeah, no issues there taking the dragon for BSG. They saw Dallas on the top side, so it was a clean take. No objective that Dallas could really trade for, though, in the top lane, so kind of a net negative trade there for PVE, but it looks like he's going to be hanging out there again.
Yeah, Dallas has come on in. I believe he's got the needlework coming out as well, too, but that's going to be the slicing maelstrom from Axford, taking Dallas down to about half health. But look at the needlework! The flash away just barely saves Axford. Oh my goodness, he survives with a sliver of health, but that flash is going to be down from that cannon, so potential regank option if they choose to go for that. But Herald should be up soon too, so that's never a bad option if they want to go for that objective. We do have to keep our eyes on this bot lane though, B-bots.
Yeah, certainly. And the thing that comes out of that trade the biggest thing that PvE wins out on there is that they get both sums from Axford. The teleport is super important as we were talking about these level 6 skirmishes.
Here comes Grotus, the Crowstorm of the wall, jumping on with that Tristana immediately. The fly's going to flash away. That's going to be a turret shot taken there by Perky, and then Grotus eating up that ignite. PvE survive yet another gank towards that bot lane, and we're probably going to see PvE responding once again up in on that top half. That's going to be the Hextech Ultimatum coming down from Rivari. And immediately there's the Baby Cage 2 from Mako. And the Primordial Burst to finish him off. It's first blood for PvE. And that one's going on over to Mako.
Yeah, nowhere to move for Axford there. The Hextech Ultimatum and the Flash Baby Cage we saw coming out from Vigar means that Axford's pretty stuck. And we just saw the Primordial Burst into the Vigar ultimate there. And it looks like Dallas is looking to trade with Defoe. This is the second time he's tried to solo trade with one of these laners.
He's back again. Cage is up once more, and Defoe has nowhere to go except over the wall with his flash. So nicely done. Perky's going to be looking for the Zenith Blade. And a little bit of damage coming in from that brand. But nicely done to secure himself a Dark Harvest stack. So, you know what? Another point we didn't notice here because it's just standard, but he did not Halo Blades it this time, which is nice. We do see him at least getting a stack here. But it is going to be a little bit difficult with this Vigar just sitting back and farming, because right now he's got 63 stacks already, and we're not even at 10 minutes.
Yeah, actually really nice trade there from Leaky Pickle going in there onto Fly. Tristana's got so much unmatched trading power in the early game especially, and so by going in onto Fly there one-on-one, it forces Salt Spreader to use the hero's entrance there to save the Fly and knock Leaky Pickle off. But what I was talking about before all those skirmishes happened was that Rivari still keeps his teleport in the top lane, which means that coming into this level 6 where all these skirmishes are going to be happening probably around the next dragon spawning in just under 2 minutes. It's actually vital that Rivari has his teleport and Axford does not.
Yeah, and those ults are going to be coming back too. At least the Hextech Ultimatum will be available. I'm just going to take a peek at Salt Spreader here. Yeah, 140 seconds for his ult to be ready, which is actually, yeah, it's about, no, that's over 2 minutes. So that will not be available for this next Dragon unless it's drawn out a little bit. That's it's definitely going to be one big missing piece here. So I would think PVE maybe might want to play this one safe and just say, you know what, it's a Cloud Drake, go ahead and go for it. We're not going to necessarily fight you over it because, again, our point goes back to Mako being on that infinitely scaling champion. We don't have to go for these early fights. We don't have to force anything right now, but we are seeing a massive fight actually breaking out in the jungle. I take it all back. Dallas is getting low. He's flashing over the wall into that invulnerability, but Salt is getting low, and he's taken out by Angrotus, but Mako coming in with the cage. He will catch Perky, and the Primordial Burst to finish him off. So both these teams to go 1-for-1 in that little skirmish in the jungle, but Dragon up in 45 seconds now. We should see a little bit more attention given over that way, but it is just absolutely lit up in the jungle here by BSG. They've got absolute vision dominance over this half of the map.
Yeah, certainly. And we saw in Game 5 of the Mint BSG series as well, Angrotus is so good at using these pockets of vision to find ultimates that he otherwise wouldn't have been able to find. And even though he finds the ultimate there and he finds what looks like a good trade for BSG, I'd say it actually is a net win for PvE just because it's a kill onto Mako. Angrotus did get the kill onto, onto Salt Spreader, but the more kills you can get onto Viego, the better.
You did see the attempted Zenith Blade in the mid lane, but up top, Axford actually going to be forcing his Hextech, sorry, not his Hextech Ultimatum, Slicing Maelstrom. They're very close in syllables. But
yeah.
He's looking pretty low here and really needs to watch out for Rivari just going in on him like this, potentially, but the turret shots are coming down. Hextech Ultimatum popped, and that's going to be the solo kill in top lane for PvE. Comes very close with that turret shot, but the last little bit of that shield going to save him. In the meantime, though, Angrotus picking up that second Drake of the game. So BSG already up 2 dragons to none. Unfortunately, no Infernal for game 1 here. It will be a Mountain Soul. But things are starting to spice up just a little bit more. We're not seeing anything super duper crazy other than a few skirmishes and fights here and there. But I think it'll be interesting once we start seeing the full 5v5 team fights, especially with the wombo combo potential from both sides here.
Yeah, I'm shaking my head at the Mountain Soul, honestly. I was hoping for Infernal, but we're not going to see it. Really good play from Rivari in the top lane. They're using the Hextech Ultimatum. The channel of it to buffer the tower shot meant that he actually got to walk out alive. You saw he walked out with about 100 health there, and that was thanks to the buffer from his ultimate there. But really nice trade from Rivari. It's 2 drags for BSG, but as a scaling comp, PvE is quite alright with giving those dragons away if it means that they're going to scale up, get stronger, and be able to take 4 in a row when 4 mountain dragons as well especially would be very helpful for PvE.
Yeah, I'm just going to do a quick peek on stacks across the board. Still 1 Dark Harvest for Defoe. Mako was at 104 stacks of his passive so far, of the phenomenal evil power is what it's called, but seems we have something potentially breaking out top lane, but Rivari is just going to simply go ahead and shove that cannon off the wave. Slicing Maelstrom is available, so PV do need to be a little bit careful walking through here, but Defoe is going to get spotted out. The cage is going to come down a little bit early, so Dallas will simply walk on back after taking that. But in the bot lane, though, DeFly all by himself is going to get picked off by Pickle and Perky, so PNP down there to clean that one up. They should be able to at least get a plate off here in the next 30 seconds, as they are going to be going away quite soon. Maybe.
Yeah, and that's not that's not what you want to be doing as DeFly there. You know your team's winning and your team's fighting in the top side. There's no reason to be standing too far up in the bot lane there, and he just gets punished for it, plain and simple. And Grotus is hanging
look
around
at this.
here.
Yeah, Rivari was trying to go for another solo, but Grotus waiting right over the corner, right around the corner for him. Gonna stop that push and stop a potential another solo kill. Things, though, are again very, very close, very head-to-head here, as it's only 2-3 here overall, but BSG potentially looking for another kill here. That Zenith Blade is going to come up a little bit short. Cage goes down to lock Perky Tricks in there, and Mako will simply walk around that ledge to safety. So, but overall, it's actually less than 1,500 gold up for PvE right now. This is very, very tight, and you take a look at where that gold is at this time. A little bit extra for Pickle there. Mid lane is doing quite nice for PVE, but you can see it right there on your scoreboards at the bottom of the screen that not too much difference here at almost 15 minutes.
Yeah, Mako's up around 700 in his lane, and so you're definitely confident, or you're definitely you're definitely excited with that for Mako there. All the kill gold onto Mako, besides the one in the top lane, but next dragon here coming up in a minute and a half, and it's going to be the Mountain Soul. And I think PvE, now with their lead and with Mako very strong, they're going to want to be looking for this dragon. And so Dallas is posturing around the top side. I expect him to make his way down.
Oh my goodness, oh my god. We didn't have time to address that Rivari dropping down the Hextech ultimatum. And that Q, once you get the second proc on that Q coming through, it is ridiculous amounts of damage coming through. I believe Dallas was spotted up there dropping the Herald, so he's going to start making his way down towards Dragon. Still has another minute to do so, but you can see the numbers are bunching up on the bot lane here from BSG. Solarflare is going to come down on Assault. He's going to go back for the Justice Punch, but in comes Angrotus. Salt Spreader going to be flashing away from that one, but Leaky Pickle trying to come over the wall to help his team. However, look at Mako in with the Baby Kid, dropping down the damage. Perky is going to be taken low and almost taken out, but Defoe is able to get that double kill on the back half there, able to take down 2 members, but another cage is up. Mako's looking for 2 himself. He picks off 2, and Dallas finds Defoe, but ends up being a triple kill for Mako here. What a bit of a chaotic mess down in that bot lane, while up top Axford gets some revenge. She's able to get a solo kill onto Rivari. What just happened, V-Pots?
A lot of stuff just happened, and it was a big fight towards the bot side there. Rivari even had teleport if he wanted to come down and help his team out, but I think he thought that PvE was going to win the fight regardless, just because of how strong Mako is. He's 5-0-1 on the Vygar here. He's up in farm, or he's equal with farm with Defoe here, sorry. And it's going to be the dragon over to PvE just off the back of winning that fight, and it's going to be the first mountain dragon over to them. Axford is sort of, now he's going to walk back top lane, but Rivari has teleport if he wants to come here for this, but it's going to be a clean take from PvE.
Yeah, no Crow Storm to get over the wall there, since it was just using that last bot fight. But it will be the first one here for PvE, but Mako needs to play it a little safe. Dodges around that brand Q, so will not get hit by the stun following up. However, responding back with his own CC, caught up in the cage. Defoe will get hit by the E, dropping on down. The E? No, W. The W. I had it mixed up there. Which, again, is only going to hurt more and more as this game goes on. Oh, caught in the cage. Look at the Primordial Burst and walking up way too close. Defoe gets punished for that one. Mako picking up his 6th kill of the game. He's got 182. Oh my god, B-Pots. He's got 182 stacks.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. He's on par with 10 a minute, which is way more than what the usual Vygar standard is. I believe the standard is around 80 to 90 stacks every 10 minutes, and so Mako is like 20 or so above that. Now this is going to start off the Rift Herald, and PvE is just so strong. Mako has TP, Mako has Flash as well, so he can join this fight if he wants, but it looks like with Angrotus in the bot lane, there's going to be no contest in this mid lane. Instead, Backseat Gaming's going to be looking to siege down this bot lane tower with Leaky Pickle, get some gold into his pocket if they are able to take this tower. But one of the things that I never really noticed up until now is that Rivari's up about 50 CS in this top lane, and he's going back in onto Axford again, does about half his health with a combo. Defoe's got to come up there to take the pressure off Axford, but I don't think anything's going to come
back in, though. Look at this, Hextech ultimatum down, and Defoe is just going to disappear, getting low, so Rivari has to back on off, but here comes Dallas trying to pop that needlework onto Axford. 2 first ones are going to go a little bit wide, so he might need to back off here, but in the bot lane, we're going to see the Solar Flare coming on down, and Grotus is down here once again, but Mako showing up to try and find something. That's going to be the ace in the hole coming in from Defly, but Perkingtrix caught up in the baby cage here, has nowhere to go. The taunt coming from Salt Spreader as well, and Defly going to pick up his first of the game. Now 11-5 for PvE. The fight is still going as Rivari flashing over the wall. They're trying to find Angrotus right here as top. Rivari has come down to help out with this one, but Pickle's going to have to back off, and Grotus going to have to back off, and BSG needs to play safe on this because now we're starting to see that gold lead extend just a bit here. Might have another skirmish actually breaking out in this jungle. Dallas trading in with Axrid, but the Conqueror stacks are coming through, and that cannon is just going to be snipped away. But now in a 2v1 situation, Assault Spreader coming on in with the hero's entrance, going to be trying for that Justice punch, but no, Rivari is there to follow on up with this. He picks up a kill for himself, and Grotus now trying to get on out of this one, but that turret is going to be taken down by Rivari. Tier 2 is down, but simply waiting for that one. Mako timing it out of the Zhonya's will pick off in Grotus, and PVE now up 14-5, 35k to 28. Just all of a sudden, a 7k gold lead has erupted out of nowhere, and PVE having a fantastic lead here in the mid game.
Yeah, it's just been off the back of really good fights from PVE. They took a small lead that they had and they turned it into the 7k gold lead that you were talking about. One of the things that slipped my mind in draft actually was the draft champions of Axrid and Grotus and Defoe are all AP based. So we see on PVE, we see Merc Treads coming out from Rivari, Dallas, and Mako. Just a really nice adaptation there. Usually on Mako, you're looking to go for the Sorcerer Shoes, but the Merc Treads here mean that he's got that tenacity, he's got that MR in these small skirmishes in the top lane, which is certainly something that helps them win their fights, and they're so far ahead that losing the Magic 10 on the Sorc Shoes, for instance, isn't that much of an issue right now.
No, not at all. I'm honestly a little surprised that BSG does not have that. We do see the Verdant Barrier, which is the new item that builds into Banshees, being picked up here for Defoe. But those Merc Treads, I think are a must-buy item against any Viger player because it gives you just that split second to get out of his cage before the W comes down on you. I don't know if we're going to see people switching out boots for that, but look at Rivari here dodging out from the Zenith Blade, but the Solar Flare is going to be coming down. Pickle doing a ton of damage, but the Hextech Ultimatum is going to be used. Buster shot it on out of that, but the rest of PvE showing up to party here. Dallas is in, and snip goes the Gwen. Gonna find a kill there. Mako going legendary, but the Crow Storm on top of the Slicing Maelstrom. BSG looking to turn it back around, but Ace in the hole coming down, and Grotus is going to be able to take down Salt with a smite. But answered back, the Fly picks up that kill and finishes off the ace for PvE here at 22 minutes. So they should be able to pick up this next Mountain Drake here, tying them up 2-2. And Dallas sent down bot to finish off that tier 1 tower. So again, a lot of gold going on over to PvE right here after that exchange 2 for 5.
And this is just PvE throwing their wallets at backseat right now. Like, honestly, PvE is just so far ahead. They can take pretty much any fight on the map that they want. As long as Mako's alive and in decent position, PvE is going to have a good fight because they're just so far ahead. They've got so many team fighting tools that they just steamroll any team fight. It's like they do BSG's comp, but because of how far they are ahead, they just perform better in team fights. And they took the second Mountain Dragon there, but I don't anticipate this game going to Soul. Just because of how far PvE is ahead, they can force a Baron, they can force a fight mid, and promptly and swiftly close out the game from there.
Stack update right now, 6 Dark Harvest stacks for Defoe right now, but 245 of this Viger's passive. So he's sitting at about 588 AP right now, doesn't even have the death cap completed yet. You could see the two rods already completed, which it's not too long from now, but Salt Spreader potentially getting caught out here in the jungle. That's going to be the Solar Flare coming down once again, but the double taunt will be there. Mako with the baby cage onto Pickle, but this fight is actually going BSG favorite here. That will be the hero's entrance coming on down, but look at the Primordial Burst will just eviscerate Axrid, and Grotus on the back line trying to find something. Leaky Pickle going on over the wall, gets hit with the ace in the hole. This fight still continuing up into the top lane. Salt Spreader getting the knock up onto Grotus, and this needlework from Dallas to clean it up. Mako's going legendary too, and Rivari, oh my god, does so much damage. But I think the main point here is take a look at this Baron PvE starting this one up. Gonna look to set themselves up with that Baron while Rivari is down in the bot half of the map, just cleaning this one up. This should be the Baron, easy peasy here, picked up for PvE.
Yeah, that second burst of Camille's Q, I forget what the name of the ability is, but the second burst did 800 of Defoe's health and true damage there, which is more than half.
I think it's called
And-
Feast. No, it's Precision Protocol, but it's basically like a Cho'Gath R there. It's a little ridiculous.
And I mean, if she gets a little bit more gold Camille, then she can start out smiting the 950 smite dragons with the second proc of that. But Rivari's just going back.
Goodness, caught out of the jump midway in the Hextech ultimatum. You got nowhere to go there, Mr. Pickle. He's gonna get taken out, and let's see what PVE are gonna do now. 5-4. We're gonna see if they can get a little bit of more pressure being applied here with this Baron buff. Back on over to the Vigar update. 275 stacks with the Rabadon's death cap completed. 892 AP. You get hit by one ability from this Vigar, you are so toast. So again, surprised that we're not seeing any Merc Treads coming out from BSG in this first game.
Yeah, and I mean, at this point, you're so far behind that if you're building Merc Treads, you're not really doing any damage in these team fights. But I mean, you're not really doing any damage anyway, so it's like, which one do you pick? Rivari's just fighting the Leona here. The ace in the hole is going to come in, and with that, Perky should be falling.
Yep, Perky's going to be going down. The press onto this mid lane is still going as Dallas trying to find something here with that needlework going on in. He's going to be able to take out Axrid. Getting hit with those double Nexus turret shots, though, is going to be a little risky. He's got the brand passive ticking down on him, so he does need to watch out for this one, as that damage is no joke once the Leandres is built. But look at PVE now, just stomping into the base of BSG. All three inhibitors are actually going to be going down here, so bot is taken by Rivari, the rest of PVE up in that top half taking that. So now we're going to start to see double super minions pushing on in, and Grotus trying to use the Crow Storm here to find Defly in the backside, but knocked on up by Salt Spreader. He's going to go on Golden to try and stay alive for a little while longer, but Salt Spreader is there to claim that kill. He picks up his first of the game, and in the meanwhile, Rivari down there taking out one Nexus turret. Dallas looking to follow up on this. Hero's entrance going to be coming down from Salt Spreader, but it's not even needed because they take out that member of BSG before he can even get there. The shields are nice, but it's looking like game one going over to PVE as they finish off this Nexus. GG.
This game was close until it wasn't. You know, there was a 1.5k gold differential, but then PVE won a few skirmishes in the jungle, and they just took off from there. 11-0-6 on Mako's Vigar, and Dallas going 7-0-9 on Gwen, the two main carries of that game. But we can't forget Rivari in the top lane, going 7-2-6, and ending the game up about 80 CS on his lane, or 80 CS over his lane counterpart Axrid there for that. And I like the draft from PVE, and they executed well to their team comp and their win condition, and that win condition evolved over the course of the game. Before it was, you know, make sure that they can't get their engage off, but then after that it's let Mako do damage, and that's their win con, and it's really easy to play for that, and they were able to clean up game one.
That was some really, really nice stuff. I'm just gonna clean up something real quick and just give the Twitch chat a reminder that we are going to be doing player of the series. So save those votes for players until the end of the night, and we will have that up for you later on. But PVE take game number one, which means I do have to deal a little bit of tokens out right now, but
And
crazy
Grotus
game.
is getting paid.
He is. We'll talk a little bit more about that first game when we get back from the break. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back here very soon in about 5 minutes, and we'll be getting ready for game number 2. So we'll see you very shortly.
Welcome to the world, no heroes and villains. Welcome to the war, we've only begun. So pick up your weapon and face it. There's blood on the ground, go and take it. You get one shot to make it out alive. So higher and higher you chase it. It's deep in your bones, go and take it. This is your moment. Now is your time, so prove yourself and rise, rise. Make them remember you. Rise, for the summit. Visions brave and one false step lead the end. So higher and higher you chase it. It's deep in your blood, go and take it. This is your moment. Take to the skies, go. Prove yourself and rise, rise. Make them remember you. Push through and rise, rise. They will remember you. It is you fight among the dead beneath the dirt. Or do you know yet? Or do you want it? And when the giants call to ask you what you're worth, or do you know yet? We don't die. Prove yourself and rise, rise. Make them remember you. Push through and rise, rise. They will remember you. Prove yourself and rise, rise. Pick up your weapon and face it. It's deep in your blood, it's deep in your blood, go and take it. You can chase it.
Take me, take me.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the LAS Premade Grand Finals. We are just underway with our series right now and just finished game number 1, which PVE took. You know, B-Pots, as I was watching that game, it was pretty even up until about that 15-minute mark. And then PVE just started really taking over and didn't leave any room for BSG to come back in that one.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of that came from the solo lane domination of Rivari in the top lane playing Camille. He just won so many trades in the top lane for himself there that allowed him to not only keep a stable gold lead over Axrid, but it meant that he kept the teleport advantage as well. And with the amount of domination that he was having in the top lane, it was easy for PvE to make plays elsewhere on the map. Sorry, because they'd have to always send Angrotus up to the top lane to help with that matchup, meaning that the windows for dragons could open for PvE when or after the 15-minute mark there, and we saw them getting the the third and fourth dragons of that game, the two mountain dragons that would lead to the mountain soul. But there was just a lot of good skirmishes from PVE and a lot of good team play that led to their success in that game.
I think that's a big part too, is, once we watch these teams get that tempo rolling, it's a matter of how do I hold on to that tempo that we've got right now, and how do we keep going? And I think PvE is very good at answering those questions and looking at the map saying, what is the next thing that we have to do here? Is there a dragon up? Can we push for a tower? Can we look for a gank? Or like we saw there at the 24-minute mark where they just went and picked up Baron and essentially ended the game off of that push. So it was just very, very snowballing. Once they had that tempo, they didn't let up. So there needs to be some, like it's sounding like I did last week, there needs to be something here from BSG that is going to answer what happens when you're falling behind. We have to play safe. What is that going to look like? What kind of champions do we need to take into a comp that might be a little bit snowbally or might rely off of that tempo? What can we do to slow that down or disrupt the tempo that PvE is looking to create for themselves?
And the thing with PvE's draft is too, they don't really need to create much tempo as long as they're staying on par with BSG's comp for about the first 20 or 25 minutes of that game. They're ahead, right? They've got the Vigar, they've got the Camille, who also does very well in the late game, but as long as BSG doesn't win within the first 25 minutes, then PvE's got a clear window to win the game. And it wasn't even that BSG was winning the game up to that point and just not able to end. It was that PvE was taking trades at the 15-minute mark that realistically they shouldn't be winning with the amount of engage power in BSG's comp. Skirmishes in the bot lane without the top laner shouldn't be going PvE's way. They can't connect the Camille Galio, but just because of the sheer team play and strength that these champions like Gwen and Vigar have in terms of CC, allow you to control zone and play as a team, it allowed PvE to get a lead, especially with all that gold going on to Mako as well. I believe he ended the game like 11-0-7.
He did not die. He did not die that game. Yeah.
He didn't die. Dallas didn't die either, and it was just a really clean performance from PvE.
Yeah, I think the last 2 points before we hop into draft for game number 2 is if there's going to be a Vigar on the other side, you got to be buying Merc Treads. Again, it gives you that extra second there to get out of the cage before that W drops down, and you can see as the game progressed, the AP scaling from that Vigar was absolutely exponential. So you don't want to get caught in that. You don't want to risk it, and it's, Merc Treads. That's the answer. And before we head to draft, big shout out to PVE Edgar Allen there for the 5 gift subs. Thank you so much for the support on the stream. We appreciate you. But with that being said, we are ready to go for draft. The teams are ready to go for draft. So I'm going to give them the ready check here. And B-Pots, let's do a little theorizing here as we move on over to the next scene.
I don't even know what big adjustments that BSG are going to make, because there was just so much going on there from PvE, right? Like, you can't really target the mid lane, you can't really target the jungle, and Rivari was so good on that Camille in the top lane. What are they going to do? What are they going to ban? And on top of that, you have to ban some of the respect champions we were talking about earlier. And so BSG taking red side, I believe it was BSG that got side select this game, and they got the red side. So I want to see what alterations they're going to make in this draft.
Yes, it was BSG with the side selection, so they are the ones with the counter pick here. But same being said, that blue side does offer the advantage of picking up something quite nice for yourself in that B1. So let's see what's going to be prioritized here. A lot of the times we see Ezreal's coming out. I don't know if we're going to see something like that. I wouldn't be surprised if at some point tonight that Twitch is going to be on the table, as we didn't see it get banned out in game 1, and that is one of DeFly's specialties. I'm pretty sure Salt Spreader can play that Lulu as well too, but there it is. B-Pots is the Camille potentially getting banned out here from PvE. So yeah, that's going to be sitting on the bench for this game here. They do not want to deal with it again this game. Let's see what PvE is going to choose as their B1.
Yeah, the pick that they choose to trade that for is the Echo, so that's always up as a mid-jungle flex if PvE wants to take it. I think it's a really good pick here for their first blue pick if they're gonna plan on flexing it. But yeah, bans once again the same from PvE, and after that game, you don't really need to change anything up, right? Gwen being locked in, presumably going to go over to Dallas, but can go over to Rivari in the top lane as well, and I think Mako would be the kind of player to play Gwen mid if it really called
He
for
is.
it.
He is
Yeah.
B-Bots. That's a three-way flex right there. And a very strong one at that. Just, again, in any of the hands of those players, it is pretty nasty. I have seen Mako's Gwen in the mid lane. Not nice. It's nice when he plays it and he's on your team, but it is not nice to deal with. It is very, very oppressive when he gets his hand on that. So, that is going to make it a little more difficult for BSG to draft here. But again, we'll see what they end up going with. The Olaf is going to be picked up. I do like that. You can never go wrong with an Olaf. Again, if there's any CC, like we saw in last game, is that being a big option for PVE. It's just, hey, let's just CC them and they can't move and we'll just do a ton of damage. There you go. You just pick up Olaf and he could just run right through it.
Yeah, and Olaf was that pick that Angrotus looked towards in game 3 and game 4 of that series against Mint. He went 8-3 in game number 3 and 8-4 in game number 4, and he was such an early game catalyst for BSG to get the leads that they did in all of their leads and solo the game. It was kind of like the way we saw PVE play this game. It was just, or play game 1, sorry. It was just the jungle enabling all the lanes. Samira actually going to be locked in for Leaky Pickle here on the red side, not opting for that Tristana that he comfortably blind picked in game number 1.
Now, Samira, she's still very, very strong. I mean, when she first came out, pretty insane. But you know what? At this point, she is pretty damn good still. I would give her that. There are a couple options, though, with her being one of the 2 champions in the game that have a win wall. It does make things a little bit more tricky when approaching how to take down a Samira. But I was going to recommend a Nautilus because you can just press R on her. And it's not that, but this is what this is what I'm thinking here, B-Bots. You see the Lulu, and since BSG has already shown their ADC, you might as well just say, let's go for the Twitch here. In terms of what is going to be the answer here from BSG, they could offer something that just gets in the face of that Twitch, but no, it's actually going to be Caitlyn picked up alongside the Lulu.
Caitlyn locked in for Defly. I've never seen him play Caitlyn before. Samira Rel on the other side locked in for BSG is a really strong lane. Rel contributes a lot to Samira getting her passive stacks off and ultimately provides great engage for the team as a whole. Caitlyn Lulu is an interesting lane. Usually you don't really see the Lulu paired up with the Caitlyn just because there's not too much trading that usually goes on in the lane. It's usually Caitlyn just abusing her range, and Lulu's shield isn't the most effective on her as it would be for a shorter range AD carry like a Jinx or a Vayne. But in the late game, Lulu is certainly a champion that can help be an enabler if mid or jungle were to get fed like they did last game, and it would help enable either Mako or Dallas. But yeah, I don't know why Defly didn't pick Twitch there. It was definitely a Twitch ankle, I feel.
I could have seen it too. The Rel does make it a little bit tricky to pull it off, and I mean, it does kind of rely on, you know, I'm in your face right now, and you are going to be gone like that. So if there is a reaction or there is an opportunity to CC that Twitch, it does make it a little bit more tricky. But honestly, in the hands of the Fly, any day of the week give that guy Twitch. But Caitlyn's never bad. We could see the pokes coming out here. We can talk more about that bot lane as once the picks start coming through. But the Wukong gonna be picked up here. I would assume that is gonna be going up to Axrid. So I'm curious to know what is what's currently good up there in that top lane. Top lane's been a little bit of an island for me. I haven't visited in a hot minute.
I haven't either, but I can tell you that Wukong is one of Axrid's most played game, or what most played champions in solo queue. 74 games on it, boasting a 64% win rate in solo queue, so definitely a champion that he is comfortable on, maybe playing less towards what the team needs and just more of comfort and what he wants to do. Kane locked in for PVE though is a really interesting pick. That means it's Gwen top over for Rivari most likely, and it looks like they're just going to be waiting on this last pick for Mako here.
Possibly. If I'm PVE right now, I'm thinking, what's another champ that I can flex between mid and top? And I mean, you do have the answer for what's going to be up in that top lane, which is the Wukong, but the Kled going to come in for Rivari, another one of his pocket picks here. So I'm really liking this PVE draft right now. I want to go back to that point about the Twitch that you said. I think Twitch could fit in this draft nice and easily if they so chose. But honestly, when we look at the Caitlyn matchup here, you brought up the point of using that range to harass, and that's what I really want to see from Defly this game is, you know what, every time that Samira walks up to go for a CS, you're poking her, or the Rel. You do have to be careful about that Rel jumping on top of you and Samira following up, but you do at least have the net to get away from this. The final pick here for BSG going to be that Xerath picked up here for Defoe. It's looking like quite a spicy draft from both ends here, B-Pots.
Yeah, and I called Gwen mid, didn't I, right before we got in, saying Mako would definitely like to pick that champion up. The Kled definitely contributes to the go-in style that PVE has been playing. And on the other side, the Xerath isn't really a champion I'd like to see Axford play. Like, they already tried playing with the sort of control mage style with the brand, like they did in game 1, and it just didn't really work out. You know, PVE Mako kind of just skill checked him and was a lot more effective in team fights than Defoe was. But there could be a different fortune on the Xerath, who am I to say?
And I mean, don't get me wrong, Xerath is not a bad champion. There's a lot of damage that can come out of this guy, but the one issue I have with this matchup is the fact that he is very immobile. He is a very immobile champion, and you look at the rest of the team of the Rel, Wukong, Samira, Olaf, those guys are going to be looking to go. So where does that leave you in a team fight, B-Pots? Well, you have the 4 members of BSG there who are mobile, getting in the faces of PvE, probably looking for that Caitlyn in the backside. But in the meantime, you're going to have the rest of PvE also looking for that Xerath. And once that damage is removed, that is going to be all your AP gone from the board. So if that's the plan here for PvE, then they can really itemize around mainly armor and just look to pick off the Xerath at the beginning of every team fight and finish the rest of BSG off.
Yeah, and this Lulu pick doesn't look so bad right now, right? You've got the Wukong, you've got the Olaf all looking to dive the Caitlyn, and with Olaf's ultimate, he's immune to CC, and so picking a champion, a typical champion like Leona or Set that Salt Spreader usually plays, Set was banned, but like, you know what I mean, Leona, Set, or Leona, Nautilus, Alistar, wouldn't be really as effective against the Olaf. So I like the Lulu pickup here to, to give Defly or whoever from PvE needs it a nice big shield and a nice big escape there. But yeah, as you said, it's just go in comp against go in comp, and I'm similar to game 1, it's definitely going to be team fights, and I'm very interested to see how it plays out.
I do have, my concerns, I guess, for both sides, if you want to say that. I'll save them for once these teams lock in here, and I can open up predictions. So once we have Perky lock in his champion there, we will get this one opened up for you guys at home. There we go. Predictions are open, so folks at home can let us know who they think is going to win game number 2 here. But I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this one fully at B-Pods. I think it can go well both ways. It can also go bad both ways. There are many options here for how this is going to break down. If we do see Perky leading these fights on the Rel, again, that champ is kind of insane too. I guess it's just kind of the deal with new champs. They come out, they're super busted. But there's so much in Rel's kit that you can play around as a team. Whether that be the stuns from her E when you're pairing with someone, you've got 2 forms of CC on her W if you're charging at someone, throwing them back, or just coming off of coming off of the horse. Essentially, you get that knock up and a shield as well too, plus the armor and magic resist shred that's coming from her, and a shield break off her Q. I mean, what? She's got everything you could possibly want in there. So I can see that being a huge help to getting through a Lulu shield on someone in the back line if you decide to go for that. But once this BSG squad decides to engage, with the Rel and Wukong ult is kind of what I'm looking at for the main engage here. I could see that Rel going invulnerable, making it much harder to go for her. Kayn is a very mobile champion as well too, and has wall hack, so he can go for that back line quite nice as well. And Kled to lead the charge down whatever lane they're going to be running at BSG. I think it could go either way here, B-Pots.
I do too, and that's just the beauty of this game. You know, you can sit here and theorize all you want about different scenarios and team fights, but the only one that matters is the one we're about to see. And I mean, it's going to be a very exciting game. The Camille last game, the draft for Rivari, meant he had a lot of side lane pressure, but this Kled pick indicates that they want to be fully 5v5ing. I mean, we said 5v5 last game, but it was kind of Rivari and Axford in the top lane in the 4v4. This is pure 5v5 at its best, and whichever team can execute better is the team that's going to win the game.
Oh yeah, it's really going to come down to the execution and really building off of that tempo that we saw in Game 1 PVE. Just absolutely ran with. I'm interested to see how these lanes go. I would think a little bit more of passive play coming out from PVE's bot lane, with the exception of trades. They just need to wait and look for those trades in between the rel cooldowns. That's going to be a big part. If the rel is able to hop on either the Caitlyn or Lulu, it could be a little bit of a rough time if Samira ends up getting in their faces. Top lane could go either way. Again, these are both players with some of their main champions right now, so I think we are going to see a little bit of a skill matchup when it comes to that. Mid lane, though, I do have some concerns for Defoe. Yes, he does play this champion. Yes, he's strong on it, but Gwen is a much more mobile, much more in-your-face oppressive champion, and we might see Mako take advantage of that.
Yeah, and Mako is definitely going to take advantage of that. He's definitely an in-your-face kind of player. He can play like the Vigars and all these mages, but he definitely leans towards those champions that just say, I'm here and there's nothing you can do about it, and the Gwen is certainly one of those picks. But yeah, in the bot lane, Leaky and Perky definitely have the better early level engages in comparison to Caitlyn Lulu, but we saw in the first game as well that specifically around level 2, Defly and Salt Spreader were pretty good at respecting that, and they didn't really get caught for it. Defly got caught once in the lane with the Caitlyn, but other than that, he did his job, and when you've got Mako and Dallas and Rivari as your top side on your team, you know, it's pretty easy just to stand back, especially as Caitlyn, and just farm up and watch your team win the game. Mm-hmm.
Anyways, we shall see how this one unfolds when we come back from our break. Make sure to keep getting those predictions in, and we will see you in just a few short seconds, guys. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the LAS Premade Grand Finals. We're hopping into game number 2, and I really hope you got your predictions in. I think you probably got another 2 minutes if you feel like doing so. Currently, PVE leads 82% to 18 right now, so just a couple of PVE fans there in chat, but looking like a nice standard start from both teams here, just a 5-point defense from either side. You might see Axrid and Ingrotus actually sneaking in here. They are going to get spotted out by Rivari and might actually able to get a little bit of early vision here on this blue buff. So they're going to post up there. You're going to see some poke attempted here onto Dallas from Defoe, but everyone's just going to back on off of this and start things pretty safe here. You and I were talking, though, getting into this game. It is going to be another Infernal Dragon to start this one off, which means, unfortunately, no Infernal Soul for the start of this game, which is a little bit sad, but I'm hoping at some point tonight we'll get to see one.
Yeah, pretty standard stuff again from the junglers here. No looks at any kinds of invades or nothing like that. And Grotus was able to get a ward down onto the blue pit of in PvE's top quadrant, and reset got sweeper, so he is going to know that Dallas is starting on this bot side as well.
The question I got for you, B-Pots, is what Kayn are we going to be seeing this game? Because generally, the better to-go option is, the better go-to option is the red Kayn, just a little bit safer, but I'm curious whether or not there is a place for the blue Kayn in this game.
I agree with you. I think the red Kayn is definitely the safer of the two, but if PvE do find a lead like they did in the last game, I think that blue Kayn could be a possibility here. We see Rivari and Axrid actually trading a lot in this top lane. Rivari is just 50 HP short of that dismount, so he's not going to fall off just yet, but the Fly and Salt Spread are having the early priority in this lane. Tristana last game was really good at clearing, and she's able to get level 2 much faster just because she can clear the wave much faster, but Leaky Pickle playing this Samira is single target damage, so they're not going to be able to clear the wave as fast. We do see the dismount coming out from Rivari here, and both junglers just making their way up to their top side quadrants.
Yeah, might see a little bit of something in the next minute or so up in this top lane, and Rivari quite pushed in right now, so it wouldn't be too hard for Olaf to just kind of wrap around here. We are going to see the start of something in this bot lane. Defly getting jumped on right now. The exhaust is going to be going down onto Leaky Pickle, but Defly trying to run away. That ignite is ticking down. Pickle trying to find one more, but he's so low. Salt Spreader with the slows. That's going to be the heal actually used from Samira. But again, PvE surviving these attempted skirmishes here from BSG. So they will simply go for the back. Defly going to be losing a little bit of CS, but it's better to stay alive. However, in the top lane, Rivari might be in some trouble. He's looking to trade out with the Axrid. That's going to be the Conqueror stacks coming on through, but one more tap from Ingrotus. That's going to be first blood for BSG to start this one off. Potentially looking to chase down Dallas here too. Both junglers with those double buffs are going to be trading back and forth. Dallas trying to go over the wall. He fails, but he flashes on over, followed up by Ingrotus, who picks up a second kill here. Defoe, Defoe was able to pick up the assist on the back end of that.
Yeah, and that's what we saw in coming out from Game 3 and Game 4 of their series last week, was just Angrotus with ruthless aggression no matter which lane he finds it in, and he did the same thing on the Olaf here. Axrid is going to be taken down low. Will Rivari be able to finish? No, the flash is going to be blown by Axrid, but Angrotus is up here again.
He's in some big trouble right now, overextending, trying to find that kill. The flash forward for the Chompers, but not quite going to land on Axrid there, and Angrotus simply going to chase him down with that double buff, still on the Olaf. Can he find it? Oh, and Grotus looking for his third of the game, but the remount coming through! Skarl, could he be the savior of this one? Rivari picks up one! Rivari picks up two! The 1v2, absolutely disgusting!
Rivari is insane!
Somebody please clip that. That is beautifully done, and the timing again of that Skarl can be such a hindrance in these fights. They came so close to picking him off, but Skarl, MVP of the top lane right now.
Yeah, was able to finish off the first kill with just a sliver of health left, and then the Conqueror comes through, which allows him to pick up Angrotus as well. And a huge play from Rivari there, getting ahead in this lane once again, because The first 2 kills that Angrotis got, at least the first one in the top lane. I'll stop
lane,
for a
though.
minute.
Look at this. Yeah, the polymorph's coming through. Dallas will stay alive for a little while longer. Salt Spreader in the back to help out, but the flag cleans that one up. Dallas trying to get on out of this and dodges around the Zerath Q. But can he make it out to safety? Perky is looking for some more. Gets the knockback onto Salt Spreader, forcing the flash out of this Lulu.
Flank.
And it's just, oh, the flank coming in from Mako here. Should be able to get the stun, but Mako's simply going to take out Pickle there. As Perky going on over the wall, trying to take the blast cone to safety. And Defoe is going to be the target here, trying to pick off Salt Spreader to try and claim something back. But PVE coming in strong, picking out multiple kills there in the jungle. 5-2 to start this one off.
What is Dallas doing? Just standing here looking for Perky tricks.
Oh, that's
Is he gonna get
one
the
more.
kill?
No. Oh my god. The Aftershock just saved Perky's life. Almost gets hit by the Caitlyn Q. Well, does get hit by the Caitlyn Q. And now Salt Spreader is going to be getting quite low as well, too. And Grotus trying to get the axe down. He is going to take him out. Grotus picking up another, trying to find a second in this bot lane. It's actually going to be a shutdown for him. And the TP gets canceled. So that is just very unfortunate coming in. PVE had a little bit of a lead, but now we're tied back up to 5-5. But Rivari looking to pick up another with this Conqueror stack as well, too. Trying to do a little sneaky, but the charge coming in from Rivari will chase down that Wukong and pick him off. This is a crazy start to this game here, and with that, Dragon going to be started up too, but Dallas looking to sneak through and possibly steal this one away. He's going on in. It is going to get claimed up here by Angrotis, and Dallas in the middle of 3 members of BSG going to get taken out.
Kind of a gritty play from Dallas to go for that Dragon, but he's 0-3 on this Kayn in just under 7 minutes, so he's been dying a lot. He was just standing near the bot lane tower there, just looking to see if his bot lane would crash and die Perky, but Angrotis got back, he died, and then on reset, I think he came back bot lane and tried to steal that Dragon and didn't get it, so he's dead again, which means that some gold is going to be handed over to Angrotis here. But what I was saying is, when Angrotis got that initial kill in the top lane, the Olaf took the kill. Extra didn't get any of that kill gold. Instead, he just got a little bit of the assist gold. And so it means that Rivari, off the back of that double kill and then the solo kill again, means that right now in the lane at 7.5 minutes, he is up 1,500 gold. Just in the 7 minutes. And with the Bramble start that he went for as well, it means that he's not going to be taking any damage from Axrid, and he's going to be able to do so much with the Iron Spike whip that he was able to pick up.
Mako could be in a bit of trouble, but no, he actually goes back towards the safety of his wave. Because Angrotis just lurking right around the corner. They're potentially looking to make something happen. But again, in this top lane, Rivari just lurking in the bushes too. Looking to go in on Axrid right now. Gets pulled on back, and that's going to be the Cyclone used to try and keep him alive. In the meantime, though, we do see Angrotis starting up this Rift Herald. I'm curious to see which lane they want to use it for, because looking across the board, all lanes have those plates up, so if you can get it down before 14 minutes, that's going to be a nice little bit of gold influx for BSG.
Yeah, certainly, and I don't think PVE knows that this is going on, because I feel with all the lane prio that Rivari has, I feel that they would have been able to rotate with Dallas being on the top side as well. They finally see it now, and Grotus is pinging into the blue side jungle. It looks like after picking up the Rift Herald, he's looking to invade onto Dallas here.
Yep, calling for some help in numbers, but you do have Rivari rotating
Darrow
down.
has prio.
Look at Grotus rapid. What is this? This is a path I have. A very unique path he's taken here to maybe try and wrap around here onto Mako. He is quite low, taking a lot of poke from the Zerath.
He can just dive Mako here. If Defoe uses his Right of the Arcane here and pokes Mako down, he could be...
Oh, there he goes,
he
flashed over the wall, and that's simply it. That's it. They were very low, but now Angrotis in a little bit of a tough spot. He's going to flash till Mastery 7 as he gets stunned up a little bit, but Dallas going in with the Umbral Trespass. Can he find it? Ragnarok coming out the last second, but it's not going to be in time. Dallas looking to pick up a second, but the flash away from the foe. The stun up too is going to be very close, but the Right of the Arcane plus turret shots means the foe going to get the trade on back, and Salt Spreader now has a Samira right in his face. He has to get away from this one before that rail gets there, and luckily he will, but 8-7 right now in favor of BSG. The gold is dead even, and no towers taken quite yet. So this is, yeah, crazy game so far.
10 minutes in, and we've got 15 kills. There's been so much skirmishing going on in this game, and It's just crazy, and the fact that after all that the gold lead is still even means that these skirmishes have been closer than we think. You know, BSG's been getting a handle on some of these mid to bot side skirmishes. You know, after the dive follows up, they were able to find the kill onto Mako, and it means that there's signs of life here. And Angrotus, after getting the Rift Herald and after getting the first dragon, I'd say that BSG has a better lead than the gold lead might indicate, but not that much better than 400 gold. But the first dragon and the Rift Herald to boot would be two things that can help boost the lead that BSG has here. And Grotus is carrying it, maybe down to the bot side. Gonna use it for pressure, maybe, for this Ocean Dragon coming up.
Yeah, that'd be really nice for them to secure an early Ocean as well, too. But Dallas looking to gank this mid lane. That's going to be the needlework pot from Mako, trying to get the knockup. But Mako, one more shot. Will he be able to find it? He's deep underneath enemy territory, so he should be going down as well, too. So Defoe and Mako going to be trading each other out. But in the bot lane, we got another fight breaking down. Salt Spreader with the last little bit of shield, but it does not matter because that Samira going to be doing a bunch of damage. So Pickle picks up a kill for himself. And 2 for 1 across the board here for BSG.
Yeah, really nice pickup there. They went 1 for 1 in the mid lane and then got the kill in the bot lane. And it means they're going to get really nice priority for this dragon. We see Angrotus dropping the Rift Herald here, making PVE respond to that in the mid lane. And after getting that kill onto Salt Spreader, it means that BSG's bot lane naturally has prio here. Rivari is looking for something onto Axford here.
Possibly. His top lane, we're going to have to just pan up there real quick. Uh-oh.
Red team has slain